this is your application specialist, Adam Best at FREY Municipal Software. Today, I'll be demonstrating some great tips and tricks for your CHIPS Payroll System Release 23. This is a wonderful opportunity to explore and learn how to get more value from your CHIPS system. I have 10 items to show you in today's demonstration. Let's get started. For the first tip and trick, we're going to write the history report. When printing the history report in CHIPS Release 23, there's an option to have a page break between employees. This is useful when printing a history report with all employees on it, as it allows each employee to have their separate page. This option is not available when printing to Excel. If we go here to Reports, and we go to History Report, and then let's just pick some information in here real quick. And if I click that, and I click Page Break Between Employees, and I press OK, then I can see here's the first employee, and it just goes down to the next employee, and then the next employee. You can see each employee is on their own page. For the second tip and trick, we're going to talk about web services exclude non-active employees. And CHIPS 23 release allows for non-employees to automatically be excluded from web services. To get to this option, you have to go here to General, System Controls, and you click on the Edit button right here. You click on the Edit button, you can go to the Preferences tab, and then in the Preferences tab, we have this Web Service Preferences right here. And then right here, we have Exclude Non-Active Employees from the Web Services database that have had no activity for, and you can fill in the number of years. The default here is 2 years. So all non-active employees for at least for 2 years, will be excluded from web services. For the third tip and trick, we're going to go back to web services. For users with web service module, a new option is available to modify the default tab for employees accessing web services employee dashboard. So we're going back to General, System Controls, and we're going to click on Edit on the System Controls. We're going to go back to the Preferences tab, and we're going to click on the Web Services Preferences, and the Employee Dashboard Start tab. We can either pick the history, the pay stubs, tax document, or employee information. So whatever we pick as that option there, the next time we upload to web services, it will have that as their Start tab. For the fourth tip and trick, we're going to talk about deduction codes. When printing the deduction report or the deduction report scheduler, a new option is available to have a page break between deduction codes. If this option is selected, a page break will occur between each deduction code. This will be beneficial when printing multiple deduction codes on the same report, and it is necessary to maintain the separation of each deduction. Preferences can also be set up for this option. So if I go in here and I go to deduction, and I go to deduction report, and then here's the option. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how it looks first. So I'm going to come right back to this screen. I'm going to preview this report. You can see they're all here together. I'm going to close this report. I'm going to print a page break between each deduction. I'm going to press OK. I'm going to click on preview, and you can see here now I only have one there, and I have each one is broke out onto its own page, so it's much easier to see. For the fifth tip and trick, we're going to talk about check reconciliation, check report. Some auditors ask for employee address to show on the clear check and or clear direct deposit transaction employees. The option is now available on print employee residential address line on report on the check reconciliation report program. Where that is if I go here to payroll and I go to dash check reconciliation dash check report right here. And then right here, I can see print employee residential address on lines. If I have just that only cleared selected, and then I press OK, we can see here, this is how the report looks right now with just one line in here. But then if we go back to that location, and then I have this, and I select this print employee residential address lines on report, and then I press OK, we click on preview, you can see here that we still have the one line here, but then we have the address right below it. So that way you can have a little bit more information on those reports. For the sixth tip and trick, we're going to have the payroll summary report. There is a new report, payroll summary report, that can be run by clicking on reports dash payroll summary report. And this gives you an option to run it by pay period date or check date. And it can run for payroll or for multiple payrolls. Now let's go into that option. If we go over here to reports dash payroll summary report down here at the bottom, and then here I have it by pay period date or by check date. You can have it sequenced by name, number, social security. And here, based on what option you have selected, we how it's sequenced. You can protect social security number. And then a lot of people would actually just print the total page only. By clicking on this, we'll go ahead and we'll look at a few different ways that we can pull up this report. The nice thing, if this report is run monthly, is it gives an employee count. This is helpful for people that have the ACA module. You can run it once a month and get an employee count for each month of the year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this option down here to return the screen, because we're going to look at it a few different ways. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on it here, and we're going to bring up the report as it is. We can see here that it gives the employee number and name and the information in here. And you can see each employee on here. And then we get down to last and just get the grand totals. So if you just have these check totals that you just want to check, you'd be able to go in here and get that information as well. Or we can close it out here and we can say print total page only. So then that way, if you already have the numbers and you just want to check to make sure that everything is within the date range that you're looking for, you can pull that up. You can see employee count and you can see totals here. But in here, I didn't put any date information, so it pulled up everything that's in our demo system. For the seventh tip and trick, we're going to user-defined pay types. The ability to create custom pay types that can be assigned to employees is part of the newest release in CHIPS. And CHIPS 23 release now has pay rate default section that can be assigned to each pay rate type under the general menu items, selecting user-defined pay types. The pay type default has options of no default, regular pay rate factor, and default pay rate. When no default is selected, no rate will be calculated when the pay rate is entered for the employee. When the regular rate factor is selected, it will multiply the entered factor against the regular rate to calculate the employee pay rate. When the default pay rate is selected, it will move the entered pay rate into the rate for the employee. The new section for default pay rates now allows for flat dollar amounts to be assigned to the user-defined pay types. Where that's at, we're going to go in here to General dash user-defined pay types. And then here's one in here that's created called differential. With differential, we have this pay rate defaults here. Here's that no pay rate. And then that has the no default pay rate. So then that way it's set as whatever is put in there. The regular pay rate factor, and that's going to multiply it by whatever we put in here. In this case, it's 4. And then we can have default pay rate, and we can actually default in a certain amount in there. Let's keep this on regular pay rate factor. And then let's have that times it by 4. So that way I can kind of show you in here. And then maybe if we added another one, and we can just call this test. And we can say pay rate in here. And let's just put that in as $1. And we can say OK. And we can cancel. And I'm going to close out of here. Now we're going to go into employee maintenance. And employee maintenance, I'm going to select the first person here. And then if we go over here to payroll, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add those two default pay rates in here, user-defined pay types. So we have differential in here. And we can see that if we go here, we can take their pay rate in here. And if we times that by 4, that we get that dollar amount, the $96.15 here. And then the other one is the test one I created. And you can see it just came in with just $1. And then those, we can select the account types and everything from there. For the 8th tip and trick, we're going to talk about security. The CHIPS 23 release, there's a new option to require password change at next login. This is located at File Utilities menu by selecting Security. When editing a username, check the box to require password change at next login. When this option is selected, a password must be assigned to the user before updating their settings and the next time the user attempts to log in. They will be required to change their password. You can set up a password requirement in System Controls under the Preferences tab. Inside the Preferences tab, select the password requirements when you can make requirements such as requiring a number, symbol, plus many more options when creating the new password. So for the first part of that, we're going to go in here to File, Utilities, Security, and I can go into Security here. And if you have access to this, we can click on that. We can click on Edit. And then here's that require password and next login. And when that's selected, I can press OK. And then password must be assigned to require password change at their next login. So if we just make their password 123, we press OK. And then that will make them change their password to put in the password 123, and it will require that. And then for the other half of that, if we go to General, System Controls, and we click on the Edit button here, and we go to the Preferences tab, there right here we have Password Requirements, and here we can require a user password. We can require minimum passwords, and we can, number, symbols, mixed case. We can require all those different options. But then to kind of show you how that looks when the user tries to log in, if the user logs in here, and then they type in their login, and then we made the password 123, you are required to change your password before continuing. You press the OK button, and then we're required to make a password here. And then now the user has a password in the system. For the 9th tip and trick, we're going to talk about print direct deposits. An option has been added to the print direct deposits menu to send payment amounts to primary direct deposit account. When this option is selected, the employee's entire pay will be sent to their direct deposit account that is marked as their primary account. If an employee does not have an account marked as their primary account, the employee's net pay will be distributed to their assigned direct deposit account normally. Where that option is, this will be after we've already put things in time payroll and we've calculated and we're ready to do this print direct deposit. We go in here to print direct deposit. There's this option of send payment amounts to primary direct deposit account. When this is selected, this will use whatever employees are having their direct deposit sent to their primary account. For the 10th and final tip and trick, we're going to talk about employee maintenance. A check status tab has been added in employee maintenance. This new tab contains a grid listing all the employees' checks direct deposits and their current checking reconciliation status. The check reconciliation status are outstanding, cleared, or voided. This option allows the user to easily see any checks that have not been marked as cleared at the employee level. So where that option is, I'm going to go to Employees, Employee Maintenance, and we can pick any employee here. I'm just going to go ahead and pick the first one. And here we have the check status tab right here next to the history and ACH reporting. We see the check date, the check number, the check amount, the direct deposit amount, the cleared date, or the status. And here we can see outstanding, cleared, and voided. This concludes the CHIPS Presentation Release 23 Tips and Tricks. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation and picked up on many items that will enhance your daily CHIPS experience. If you have any questions over any of the material I covered in this presentation, please don't hesitate to contact support at 1-800-659-3739. I repeat, that number is 1-800-659-3739. 3739. I will be happy to assist you.